And from hosting iconic football games to treating COVID patients, India's largest football stadium, the Salt Lake Stadium, will turn into a 250-bed COVID hospital in a couple of days. The youth hostel located in the stadium has been converted into a hospital which will be manned by AMRI hospitals. All beds at the hospital are oxygen beds, with several ICU beds also available for the patients who need ICU care.
India's largest football stadium, which has witnessed several historic football games, is now all set to turn into a COVID care center, a field hospital for COVID patients in Kolkata. We are at the Salt Lake Stadium, the Vivekananda Yuva Bharati Krirangan, as it's called here. And this is, of course, a stadium that is now being turned into a COVID hospital. It will be taken over by AMRI hospitals. As you can see, it's being called the AMRI Hospital Satellite Center, and it will house several COVID wards like this one. Now, of course, patients who require care will be kept here. You can see oxygen, setups have been created here. All these cannulas have been set up for oxygen release. So there will be oxygen, piped oxygen supply, as you can see here, and they will be given oxygen if they require. One of the key requirements of treating COVID patients at this point is ensuring that they get oxygen in time. And if one can do that, then a lot of patients don't require further critical care. So obviously, oxygenated beds are available at these wards here at this field hospital. But let's say if someone does require critical help, then what do? Well, if a patient further deteriorates even after he gets oxygen support, then they will be brought to this respiratory care unit, where several other medical support systems are already in place. And if I can show you, the walls, of course, have pictures of India's sporting icons, and that is because this is still essentially a stadium which has been converted into a COVID care center. These, of course, are several medical setups, that are required to treat COVID patients, including monitors and other, devices that COVID patients require. Oxygen cylinders also in place here. And this hospital is likely to be functional soon. Now, Kolkata needs to ramp up its capacity of hospital beds, given the fact that experts are predicting a massive surge in cases after super spreader events during the elections. But at this point, you can see the administration, immediately after taking over, Mamata Banerjee has, of course, indicated that she would be ramping up hospitals' capacity to treat and tackle the COVID, crisis that the country is facing, which West Bengal expects also to be challenged by, which is why several of these units have been set up. This is one in India's largest football stadium, the Salt Lake Stadium, where these field hospitals has been set up, and it's of course being run by a private hospital, the AMRI hospital, which is actually just across the road. So it's just a satellite center, a field hospital, which is one of the key ways to ramp up hospital capacity during COVID times. In Kolkata with camera person G.D. Shankar, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.